you. Go get the books, Bill. How is everyone? Hi. All right, now you have to know what these are all about. Quickly, hi, thank you for having me. For those of you who don't know, about 2 years ago I started a charitable foundation called Sanctuary for Kids. And we work with small charities around the world. We're basically a non-for-profit fundraising arm. And then we distribute the funds to the people who we feel need it the most. And in less than 2 years, we've raised $250,000, which I'm pretty proud of. Yeah, and it's been in large part because of, the fan generosity and sort of social connectedness and social awareness that fandom has, but also little mini initiatives that people have done. And this book was actually written by Terry Murray, who is our script supervisor on Sanctuary. And she was sitting around on set one day and she said, you know, you guys should do like a kid's book for Sanctuary for Kids. And then her and my stand-in, Krista, started to come up with this little poem. And then they gave it to Jen Brisson, who is an artist, but is actually the secretary at the post-production sound house. And so Jen did all these drawings, and it's basically a day in the life of working on Sanctuary. And so it's really cute. And it uses all the film terminology that we use. And you know, there's the cast. It's really cute. And so we self-published them through a company called First Choice Books on Vancouver Island. And we just got them printed before I left. So I sold a bunch of them in Melbourne. They're $20 each. And all the money, of course, goes to Sanctuary for Kids. So I'll have them at my signing thing, and I've got a bunch here, just in case you happen to have $20 in your pocket. Thank you very much. No pressure. But okay, so
you're working your shit.
I am. It's for children. It's for the orphans. And it really is.
She was spending the money at the casino.
Orphans need a new house. No, this I would say Sanctuary for Kids is the thing that career-wise and in terms of anything that I've done outside of having a child and being married for 22 years is the most important thing to me. Oh, 17 years married, 22 years together. Anyway, you get the idea. Professionally, Sanctuary for Kids is my baby. It's just, and I'm so proud of it. And we have these great relationships around the world with some really, really cool organizations. So, anyway. We just finished shooting season 4 about 2 months ago. It starts airing in Australia on the 4th, so in a week. And apparently New Zealand doesn't like it at all.
So New Zealand TV networks don't like it.
New Zealand TV networks have yet to discover the magic that is Sanctuary.
There's a musical episode.
There is. We'll get to that in a minute. But it is available on DVDs, right? Okay. So and you can get it on your computers apparently.
Within an hour of each.
There's this new thing called the intraweb or something like that. And you can actually, it's like streams information. And you don't even need a wire sometimes. It's the craziest thing. So I'm really stoked about that. So you can steal the show for free, but I encourage you to watch it because it's really, really good.
When it's available, we pay for it.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
When it's
of course.
But we can't wait that.
Me too. Okay, but you asked about a musical episode.
Oh, I just heard there was one. I don't know anything.
There is one. In season 4, we do a musical episode called Fugue. And it is, you're not going to see Sanctuary does Glee. Thank you. There are no jazz hands, there's no dance numbers. It's more like The Exorcist the musical. It's very, in a good way. That I don't know that's forget I said that.
You didn't like
but it's very organic. The way that the music is presented in the show, the singing is very organic, and it's based essentially on the principle that a lot of people respond better to certain harmonic frequencies or tonal qualities. There was many studies done with children with autism and different learning disabilities that dealt with trying to teach them through music. And tonally, people follow a different path through music. And even we know it, when you're listening to the radio and there's a really great song that either gets you super excited or gets you very sad. Music has a very strong emotional imprint on us. And so we took that idea and then like did a Sanctuary Turn It On Your Head thing. And we all ended up singing. So, but it was great fun. It was great fun. Damien Kindler wrote it with our composer Andrew Lockington. And we recorded the songs, and then we rehearsed them, and then we sang them live on set. And
Each of you sang your own songs?
oh yeah, all of us sang our own songs. Yep. And there's only about 7 or 8 songs in the actual whole episode. But the really super fun part was that our crew totally got into it. So you'd have grips and electrics walking around. Everyone's humming. There's I'm carrying a ladder. And guys who watched. There's a very beautiful song on the parapet of the sanctuary, and it's very emotional. And there's windy in here, something is dusty. It's dusty. So it's very sweet. But it's outside of the box, which is what Sanctuary tries to do. And I hope you enjoy it.
Will there be a soundtrack release?
We're working on still getting the soundtrack for the actual music from the show released. We are a privately financed television series, and it is up to the people who give us the money to make the show to agree to do all these things that we're trying to convince them to do. That's my politically correct answer.
Where's the story arc development coming from? Because in the first couple of seasons, it started off with the alien entity of the week scenario, and then you've got various sub-themes of developing the characters in the family group, and then it's moved on to become a little bit of a political role and bringing in the other sanctuaries.
Right.
And the start of the 4th season becomes a little bit of an historical perspective and bringing the underworld to the top.
Yeah.
Where is the development of the story arcs over the season and across the seasons? Who's actually...
Well, I think Damien Kindler is really the driving force behind what happens on the show. But Damien Martin and I get together before every season and sort of say, where do we want to go? What sort of things can we explore? And then literally there's a lot of ideas thrown down on the table and all the writers meet. And we usually have maybe a month, 5 weeks if we're lucky, to plan, write, and prep the season. Most shows have about 6 months, and they're already writing. Once they start shooting, they've got about 5 or 6 scripts in the pipeline ready to go. And we are pretty much hand to mouth. And again, that's because we're waiting for the money to come in to do the show. So in what may seem like a really kind of eclectic ramble through different eras and different periods of science, and it's actually quite calculated on Damien's part. He's a really, really smart man, and he sort of says, okay, well, if we go over here with this, then that will affect over here with this, and so 3 episodes from now, we can go back and visit this, and I mean, it's like this intricate, weird star map that he's got in his head.
Are we looking at a 5-year type story arc?
I hope so. From your lips to God's ears, my friend. Yeah. From your lips to the financier's ears, my friend.
How do you do the accent? Because your native accent definitely is not the British that comes across.
My native accent, I would say, would be very British Canadian. And then I played an American for 11 years on television where my Canadian was beaten out of me. Literally. And I used to, on Stargate, I used to get hauled into the sound booth to do looping, where they would say, it's not process, Amanda, it's process. And say, there, so I had to relearn speech after Stargate. But I grew up in a very British household, so it wasn't hard to find the accent. The hardest part was finding the nuance of the accent, because even though she's British, oh, hi everybody. There's a lot of people on this side of the room too. Even though she's very British and comes from a very specific period in history, Victorian era England informs so much about this character, and indeed the show. But it's a very specific way of speaking. But add to that, she's been around for so long, and she's lived all around the world. So you have to find moments where you purposely drop the Britishisms and add kind of, some sort of international flavor to it. So I didn't want her to sound, sort of too European. I did want there to be moments where she's become more Americanized or Canadianized. Or my dad, for example, just recently, he's lived in the States for a while, and instead of saying bath, he says bath. All of a sudden. Because it's just been knocked into him. But for, you know, he's 70, and he's just finally started to lose the accent. A little bit, but it's a bit sad. Bath. Anyway, that's just me. Okay. Is that good? Yeah? Okay. And yes?